Okay, so today I'm going to teach you that we play golf with these, okay? Despite what anybody else says, our hands have a vital role to play when we're playing golf. So come on, let's go do this. Okay, so in the world of golf, we're told that we've got to take these things out of action. We've got to slow them down and not use them as much as we need to, all right? And that's the key word, need to, all right? We do need to learn how to use our hands correctly and efficiently, because if we don't, we'll have no control of this thing or control of the ball when we hit it. Using our hands correctly and using them in the right manner means that we can actually have more control of the golf ball than you've ever believed possible. So I'm going to show you how to use your hands correctly and how to train them correctly, okay, in the right manner. And people don't practice this enough, all right? But what I'm going to show you today is all based around the fact you've got to have a good grip, okay? How we hold the clubs will have a massive influence on how we swing the club, control the club face as well. So make sure that's right first before you go any further. How do we do that, all right? How do we practice this? And the key thing is we've got to learn to use our hands correctly. How we use our hands and influence the wrists and bends and flexes and so on is how we're really going to develop this action, this skill, all right? My hands can control the club face. So an easy way to feel this is if you put your club head in your hand, okay, you can see how the shaft sticks out here. I can control it by either taking loft off, okay, which I would have to bend the wrist down a little bit to do that. You can see how the shaft then bends downwards and towards the target. I can add loft on by cupping the wrist a bit more through impact, okay. I can turn the club face to the left, I can turn it to the right, okay. I can do a combination of the two, low left, okay. I can learn to manipulate the club head or the club face with my hands. My hands have a direct control of that. I can do the same with my right hand, okay. My right hand, I can turn it to point it to the left. I can push it and point it to the right. I can take loft off. I can add loft on, okay. I can do a combination of the two, left, right, add loft, de-loft, high right, okay. I can do the two things. I can practice it. You can practice it with all sorts of different things. Your phone, you can practice with anything. You've just got to keep remembering you're doing this when you're with your hands in order to control the club face, all right? But again, remember, it's all down to whether or not you've got the right grip. Alrighty, hope you're enjoying this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. It does help me out quite a lot. Okay, before the anti-flippers police start getting onto the comments below, I'm not talking about flipping the wrists, okay? I'm talking about controlling the hands and using the hands to control the club face, okay? At the end of the day, it's a placement game. We're trying to put the ball from point A to B, all right? And what you will develop with this skill is you're going to learn to be able to control the face. And what people don't do is they don't practice it. Okay, when they go to the driving range, they're just trying to hit one stock shot, you know, generally a straightish one. And they don't develop this skill. They will tend to go straight in there with the driver. Okay, come on, I'm going to hit the big boy today, and I'm going to try and hit it and blast it as far as I possibly can. All right. But you've got to learn to develop this skill, and you don't have to develop it with big swings. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to try and do from here is I'm going to ask you to hit a series of shots where you're standing here and you're just hitting the ball, and you're going to hit a series of shots low, high, left, right, straight, and you're going to blend it too and see if you can get the ball moving on the range, okay? And you should try and maybe start each session doing this. I know the tour players tend to do this all the time, hitting high, fades, shots they want to play on the golf course. They're practicing it, okay, and they're using their hands to do this, all right? I don't stand there and I mean, you can do it with your body, yes. There's a lot of effort involved in that. I could probably over-rotate my shoulders more to hit more of a fade. I could under-rotate the shoulders and hit the draw and so on. Yes, there is other ways to do it, but this is all about club face control. It's about controlling this thing here in order to hit the ball to where you want it to go, all right? So I would first of all make it as easy as possible for yourself, okay? I would tend to stand there and I would hit off a tee peg, okay, and I would just make very small little swings. You're not looking for distance here. You're just going to maybe swing halfway back, halfway through. I'm probably going to go to about here somewhere and through. And all I'm going to do here is just hit a series of shots, but I'm going to try and work the hands correctly through the ball. this is what you're going to try and do. You're going to try and play a series of shots from this position. So you're just going to stand here at address. And so for this one here, I'm going to play one to the left-hand side. Okay, so I'm going to use my hands, and you can develop which hand you want to use, whether you're better with your left hand to do it or your right hand or a combination of the two. It's really up to you. It's a personal preference thing. I tend to like to use my right hand a bit more, okay, than my left hand. All right, so but it doesn't mean that I can't use my left hand. All right, so what I'm going to do is here, I'm just going to hit the ball left. Now, this has got nothing to do with path, okay? This is all about club face. So this one here, the ball's going to go left and start left and go left, okay, because the club face is closed to the target, all right? So I'm just going to stand here, and I'm just going to just swing back and swing it left, okay? I felt the hands working over and through. This one here, I'm going to try and hit this one to the right-hand side. So what have I got to do with my hands to do this? I've got to turn my hands like this, and I'm going to feel like the heel of the club is going to be leading the face or the toe of the club through impact, okay? And I've got to use my right hand this way as opposed to letting it roll over. I find this one harder to do because I'm a natural drawer of the ball. I feel comfortable doing that shot, but more on that later. So this one here, I'm just going to feel that motion here. Okay, I think that went to the right. Looked like it did on the net. This one here, I'm going to take loft off. Okay, I'm going to feel my wrists stay back. So the one with this one, I'm going to feel as though my knuckles, for me, feels like they're getting as close to my forearm as I possibly can, or stay bent back. This is just going to take loft off the club face. Okay, so I'm just going to try and hit the ball lower doing that. So swing back and knock it lower. Okay, there's more of a hold off action through impact. And then on this one, I'll tell you what, let's just try and hit it normal. Let's try and hit it nice and straight. What have I got to feel that? What have I got to feel the club face come in squarely to the ball in order to do that? Okay, I've got that feeling. I rehearse it, swing back and swing through. It'll go fairly straight. Okay, we'll start fairly straight towards the target. So that's what you want to try and practice when you're doing that. You could then, once you feel comfortable in doing that rehearsal, you could then try and do combinations. Okay, you can then try and combine high and left, for example, the nice high draw. All right, nice high draw shot. So how would I do that? I'm going to allow the wrist to release it early, and I'm going to roll the hands through. So it's a combination of the two. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and do back here and up and around, and try and get a combination of those two things. The low fade. Okay, I struggle with this one. Also, it's on a T-peg as well, so it's not going to be as easy. But again, I'm trying to rehearse, keep the hands back and through, and try to rehearse that. I'm doing all these shots not with the body. I'm not thinking about the body at all. I'm doing all these with my hands, and it's important you understand that and develop that skill. It's something that you'll be told by your friends, colleagues, even other professionals, okay, who poo-poo this. You know, they think, oh, no, you're creating a hands and arms environment, you know, a wristy situation. It's all about efficiency of movement, okay. I can move my hands and arms efficiently and at power in order to hit the golf ball, all right. I don't have to put so much effort into my body, which I used to do. I've done that for plenty of years, 17 years I did that. Now I can move more efficiently. I can get the same club head speed as I used to get by swinging my hands and arms a lot more than getting the body too involved. Okay, my body is involved, don't deny that, but my body is using it in the right manner. It's supporting my arms, swinging around my body, and I'm pushing away from the ball in order to gain the momentum. So, and push through, okay? So, learning to use your hands is vital, all right? You'll often hear the commentators say on TV, oh, he saved that one with their hands. You know, they managed to save that shot because their hands are well trained. The tournament professionals are good at this, all right? They've spent years as a kid manufacturing and doing all this, okay? They've already got expert hands, okay? What you need to do as a golfer, recreational golfer, is learn to perfect that, okay? And also gain professional hands, all right? It's something that you can learn to do, though. You can have it as a skill to try and learn as a golfer. Okay, so get the club face working. I tried to roll that one over a bit more. That should hopefully have gone a bit left. All right, so that's what I want you to try and work on this week. Try and use the hands. Get a bit of feel in the play again. And yes, you can do it with a driver. Okay, Start with a 7-iron, progress up with small swings, do little strokes, feeling how the hand should work, playing with them, pushing them around, pushing the ball about, and then build up slowly to, you know, a longer club, 7-irons, and then move up to a 5-iron, maybe even a 3-wood, and then up to your driver. Try and play with it. The driver is just as important to control the club face on that, because it's a directional club as well as a power club. If you can have face control, you're winning at golf. So there we have it. The hands are involved in the golf swing. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, all right? It's important that you learn to develop this as a skill, all right? If you want to be good at golf and you want to develop your game and take it to the next step, you've got to learn to use your hands correctly. Once you find something you're comfortable with, then you can start to slow it down a bit and take it away. But most amateur golfers need to develop this skill, all right? You'll also find one that suits you, okay? You'll find that you're better at drawing the ball than opposed to fading the ball, or vice versa, all right? Play with it then. So when you're on the golf course, you can play with that skill. You know, you can, if you're a fader of the ball, for example, you can aim up the left-hand side of the fairway rather than aiming down the middle. You can aim up the left-hand side and let it fade into the fairway. You've doubled the size of the fairway width then, and vice versa with a draw. It just makes sense, all right? So learn to develop this as a skill. Don't be afraid to do it. Go to the driving range, just hit a few little shots trying to bend the ball. On Trackmans and on the Top Golf and things like that, you can create shapes and try to create different shapes with the flight, okay? Be more intent on that as opposed to hitting it as far as you possibly can, all right? It's very rarely I'm putting a max effort into my practice sessions when I'm doing this. I'm more about learning to control the movements and about mastering those, and then I can go full effort when I'm playing golf, all right? So hopefully that's helped you this week. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell at the bottom there as well, and I'll catch you next week.